jump into game number 1. A little flashback for those that might have missed last week's games. Like Renmar mentioned earlier, since Sui was in that roam role, and it just seemed like there was an overall disconnect between the games that we saw from Twisted Minds. So maybe this change, by bringing Escalera in, is what's going to help them get closer to a victory. But that's the thing, too. This is against a team as strong and dominant as Team Falcons, and just that synergy. So this is a great test to see if this change-up helps them. Interesting, too, you have the bands there coming through in that first phase, the Fanny, the Bedang, the Matilda, Joy, Harith, Jushin over on the other side, first picked. What we expect when it's open is the Suyo.
Yeah, and I think teams are starting to show that they're willing to give up the Joy Suyo trade, and with the rise of Nolan, other assassins showing that you can make it work, even other fighter utilities working in the jungle again, we might be starting to see a slight shift. I'd call it a little adjustment in the meta. So,
a little bit of a bump.
Yeah, a little bit of a bump that we needed. Twisted Minds, interesting first phase bans. They actually ban out the Fanny to force out a different ban from Falcons. They ban out the Badang, unique pick, but the Badang has been rising as a first 2 picks on the red side, and Flap TZ plays that well. And of course, respecting the Matilda that they could have brought out.
Honestly, in that regard, I feel like you also have to just really not too focus too much on the Suyo Joy balance, like what we're seeing here. Again, love that they are already like adjusting something like that, where you don't need to pick up the Joy right away, the jungle right away there. We saw a few teams kind of flumper that out on week 1. That might have been Twisted Minds, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we see teams not making that mistake anymore.
Yeah.
Love the adjustment here.
And by the way, speaking of adjustment, to add more to that, the Hilda first 2 picks on the red side, not that frequent, but it's actually a block pick onto James, who he's actually been one of my top players in Twisted Minds, despite all the difficulties that they've shown. And his Hilda play is actually quite fantastic.
Yeah, it is, and they're going to pick up right now the Hylos to go ahead, and they might flex that, or there's the Moskov. Okay, so they got the gold lane under toe. So Hylos in general, I think, is going to help them because it works really well with the Suyo, and the response over on the other side is the Nolan. Like we mentioned, this is the hero that is popping up a little bit more now. Pretty good win rate, too. I mean, that's pretty healthy. 75% win rate now for this Nolan.
Pretty good, pretty good. And, you know, as a Hylos main, I don't really mind the Nolan too much. I can kind of deal with the Hilda, just keep your distance while doing damage at the same time with the Ring of Punishment.
As the Hylos main, by the way.
As the Hylos main, yes, sir.
Rockhart, the Hylos main.
But overall, I feel like there is still a lot of threats to be addressed here, especially if they kind of just start focusing on or trying to pick up these crowd control mids. Because I think with this lineup, you don't have a choice. You need the crowd control. It will come from mid, right?
Speaking of crowd control, Falcon takes away the Cho potential Escalera pickup. I think Twisted Minds have leaned into the idea that they pick up the Hylos, so if ever they have a soft counter to the Eve, and they have something that pairs well with their own Eve if they decide to pick it up. And with what Twisted Minds have shown is that it's sort of like saying, are you sure you want to pick up the Eve Falcons? Because that would be a great combo with the Granger. They have the Moskov and Hylos potentially to deal with it. Now, the kicker is, with Falcons picking up the Nolan, even though they have 2 picks to counter the Eve, you have 1 pick that can mess up the backline if they're not careful, trying to go break the formation where the Eve is in. So it's sort of like a pick your poison type of scenario around the Eve now.
Could both of these also be flex, the Hylos and the Hilda? Is that what the play is for both teams right now? Like seeing, do they want to park them in the XP lane, or do they want to go with roam for both those picks?
I think more the Hylos is flexible than the Hilda. Although Hylos EXP is also quite abysmal in terms of the win rate. Yeah. So yeah.
And Ogwen definitely can play these heroes. With the Jawhead lockdown, that is going to secure the Hilda on the XP.
Okay, Hilda does go for the XP. There's a Jawhead pick. Jawhead Nolan. This is good, though, because of the fact, too, that it was left open. And I don't know if statistically they would have done that, considering what you just mentioned about the Hylos. But that is a usual combination, Jawhead, Suyo, that some teams have really liked to lean towards. So now these last 2 picks for Twisted Minds, what are they going to put in the mid lane? They've got a couple options left available. The Farce has been doing pretty good for a lot of the teams that do want to get that extra burst and have that mobility still to work with. So we'll see if they actually decide to go with that. Eve obviously still open too. It looks like it is going to be the Farso locked in, so there it is. And then the Lucas now.
All right, not bad at all. obviously the Farsa, as long as you position well, you're fine. But it is a Nolan. It is a Jawhead. Eventually, this Farsa is going to be in trouble so many times in this game. But I like the Lucas as well, just to make sure the high-lows can always be ready on the bush. If you throw it on the XP, it's going to be able to bush check less.
Yeah.
So I like this.
And Falcons are really blocked off from a Valentina pickup, I think. I wonder if they're willing to lean into Faramis. That might be a bit too aggro. They have the reach from the Granger. They can play it safe and go Vexana.
Vexana is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking Faramis or
Less
Vexana.
on the Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eve is still available, but I don't think
I would not want them to Eve. It's gonna be bad. Oh, Low Yi.
Louis, oh my goodness.
All right, of course.
All
yeah.
right.
Again, we're so used to seeing her banned out. That,
Banned out,
I'm
yeah.
surprised that she's picked up again.
She wasn't banned out last series at all, right? Like this is, I mean, it's a 91% contention rate that she has right now.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Yeah, she was left open
Only she was banned out for one game only.
for one game. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, interestingly enough, and leave it up to Team Falcons, man. They are the team that wants to usually utilize some of that macro option, whether that's the chip, like you were mentioning earlier with Ogwin, or you get your hands on Louis Yi. You can do the same thing. You can put pressure where you see fit alongside the game, and that's really what they want to do and how they want to approach this game, because of the fact that, again, yes, you have to kind of deal with the pace that Twisted Minds lineup could give them from early to late game. We take a look here at the index. You're seeing it broken down. There's a lot of higher numbers here for Team Falcons right now throughout this game. We'll see if it actually plays a part. You get one last look here at the lineup. And interesting. I think this is interesting for Twisted Minds, but really want to see if this Escalera change instead of Sensui playing for this one is going to change things up. We jump into the Land of Dawn. It's game one in our second series of the day, day 2 of week 2. Will it be Twisted Minds or will it be Team Falcons drawing the first blood?
Again, the Granger falls into the hands of Super Marco, who yesterday he was able to get the first Savage of the season so far. And now Escalera getting the information. Two different lineups on Falcon. You have pick and pressure. Pick off and pressure is the identity for them. While for Twisted Minds, it's more steady, stable team fighting concepts.
And if you keep the team fights up, I feel like Twisted Minds does have a pretty good handle on the early, or to mid rather. But in the early game, I feel like this Jawhead is something that you really have to keep your eyes on. And he is keeping his eyes on you as well. So your MPL might not have an easy time in the jungle here.
I want to see how they kind of respond to that early pressure that can be set up. Now, Team Falcons, their play style for the most part is going to be waiting even for Ogwin to have that level 4 available.
Yeah.
Right now, he's just literally got in the ejector. So that's pretty much all he can do. Now, you have to also respect the early game damage on both sides, because that's the thing about the Louis Yi too. For Few, he knows that he can actually, when they clump up and they want to, for Twisted Minds, they got to watch out for the Louis Yi. Now, Flap is going to go check out the bush.
Nice bit of a check here. Flap TZ, of course. The power of wilderness, going to be able to just keep himself alive.
He's fine, but the rest of the team,
Good positioning.
going to go for it themselves.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know if you expect that. Escalera put on half here. And of course, the diversion not available for Few, but the damage is pretty good from the rest of the team here. Cal TZ got chased Flap TZ as well. Two TZ brothers giving it pretty good damage. MP the King's out.
Yeah, quick scaling here for Falcons, and they will have damage right away. And instantly you see Flap TZ applying pressure into the purple buff. See if they're going to invade it. Diversion play by Few to send Kyle. Interesting.
And that's so deep down, getting ready to intercept on the orange. He expects it. He sees MP the King. Don't think he's going to do anything yet, though.
Good attempt there, but still actually going to go ahead and take one of the camps. So MP the King, part of the plan is really to slow him down or at least give that gap. And so far, Kyle TZ keeps up with the pressure. So
Very
MP the King will fight
aggressive as
for it.
well.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Yeah, MP the King, though, keeping up with the pressure as well. He's not, we don't see a significant XP deficit yet for the Suyo. Twisted Minds, let's see how they find a way to slow down the pace of Falcons, who are just controlling the tempo.
Could be problematic here. Flap TZ knows how to dip, he knows how to dive.
Oh,
He finds one. Hot GZ goes down. Ogwin beautifully positioned on the Jawhead.
Very
a trap.
patient. It is a trap. Very patient. Good pickoff, too. And that's what you expect to see from the master, Ogwin, with the Jawhead. So a lot of that you know, once again, he's just kind of scouting things out, and he makes a play.
Yeah, very good read. It really looked like Falcons PH were baiting them into that, knowing that Ogun was in the right spot. I think they were just waiting to get the information where Hajizi was. Simple toss-up, follow-up. And I think we're starting to see also just how devastating the Jawhead Loyi combo could be. Because once Ogun gets a toss, that's going to be an easy trigger with a duality pull for few. I mean, I say easy, but he has to make sure that the, you know, the shadow light is right.
The balance.
You know, yeah, the balance.
Yeah.
You know what it is with the Loyi. But so far, they've been making it work. And when Twisted Minds try to respond, they find themselves getting bursted and pulled in by the Loyi.
And that's something that's very deceptive because you don't know. You can't always check yourself like, oh, what do I have over my head? It's not something that's easy to find, and it can really catch you off guard.
Yes.
Kyle TZ's damage is catching them a little off guard too, because even this Escalera, Ogun again, toss it up.
Ogun again with a beautiful position here. James actually will be able to survive here. Haji's forced to use the Feather Airstrike very early on, though. And because of that, Falcons might see an opportunity here. James is low, and from the back, it's outplay. It's going to be a 5v5. It looks like there's going to be MP getting taken out with that turtle. Escalera going to be the sacrificial horse here for the meantime.
Team Falcons PH, good patience with that, and diversion.
Whoa!
To quickly rotate.
Very aggressive, Kyle TZ. Wasting no time to get into the purple buff here, knowing he can take it very easily from MP.
And even without the retro, he's like, yeah, send me. Send me forward and I'll go get something because we lost that turtle. So they go get that. Super Marco gets some extra gold too, knocking on the plates here, of course. Even taking a look at it, look at the lead that Super Marco has right now against Outplayed. You know, they've just been 1v1ing for the most part.
Yeah, they've just been the lane. Super Marco has been on God mode since yesterday, and he breaks the tower on his own. Not much rotations downside that would really disrupt the laning phase between the two. That's just pure dominance in lane by Super Marco. Again, on a Granger that he got the first Savage of the season with yesterday.
It's a thumbs up, man. I don't know. Like he's such a silent killer, and he's so good in the lane 1v1, and that's just him taking care of it. Look at this, because he's going to stay there, continue to farm up, and Outplayed's got to go get gold elsewhere. So, and rely on the team too. So that is a problem for right now the gold lane for Outplayed.
Yeah, get those 750 stacks. Saw that yesterday. It was like pretty
750?
crazy. Yeah, we reached that number, right? I can't believe I saw that actually. You're gonna have unlimited Rhapsodies here. And now the 5-man once more from Twisted, staying together. Dodging it out, though, is going to be Falcons. They don't want to absorb any of that damage coming in for that Feather Airstrike. I guess what Twisted Mind is doing is just staying together as much as they can to avoid that diversion pickoff.
Yeah, and considering that they are against a pick and pressure lineup, you have to turtle it out as a team and see what you can do together to maximize the combination that you will have with the Farsa, getting the stun, and of course a follow-up from MP the King and James. Escalera can only do so much here. He will be, as you mentioned, Rockar, the sacrificial horse of this lineup. Stand up, get tossed, revitalize, try to survive. That's his personal game plan and the only thing that he can do.
See if we can make the game plan work here.
Oh, they got Hajizi before he could actually pull off anything. Flicker is off cooldown. Nothing at all. Huge surprise factor from Falcons.
Man, Ogun is a menace on the Jawhead right now.
Yeah, he's reading the positioning of Hajizi very well. The two deaths Hajizi suffered were because of the hands of Ogun. And look at James even having a hard time trying to deal with Flap TZ alone.
On. James says, leave me alone, bro. Such a big boy. Can't really do anything about it, and Flap TZ knows it. 5-man Twisted once more, staying together around the mid.
Kyle TZ already has the Malefic Roar as well. He went, he went Hunter Strike, Fury Hammer, not gonna fully build that yet. Then goes into the Malefic Roar just to double down on the idea of, we're gonna really burst it down. Because of the two Dreadnought armors on the side of Twisted Minds with the Lucas on the high loss, the Malefic Roar rush by Kyle TZ cancels it out.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, we already saw how much damage he was doing without the Malefic Roar against Escalera.
Yeah.
And now, he might even be able to go ahead and get a combination of a burst down on Escalera. And if you take out their front line for the most part, that's devastating. They've already done it when you get tossed up by Ogun, and it looks like they want to keep going for that, you know? This is just putting pressure on the resources alone to Twisted Minds might not really have a move here right now.
That's right. I feel like the devastation is literally starving out MP the King. Can't really level out, can't get any gold so far in this game, man. That's devastating for a Suyo.
Yeah, and it really just looks like Twisted Minds because of what the Jawhead and the Loyi can do together in the map. The simple things of their combination together meant that Twisted Minds could not find any control at all. Outplay just built up the Golden Staff.
Oh.
Trying to make some moves here once more. Finally, Few is going to be the first target here for Twisted Minds in the next few minutes. Flapteezy's on the run. Kalteezy coming in for backup. Can't really do much. Only forces back the Twisted Mind members. It's a start.
That's a start that they need because they see that when they lose Few and they lose some of that magic damage available to them, they really kind of hesitate. So, but knowing that Falcons doesn't want to overcommit because the Lord is up now.
Yep.
And if they just lose one, that's fine. They still have a pretty big lead against Twisted Minds, and they'd rather focus on this objective.
Yeah, Twisted Minds have shown that they can get a pick and punish, though. Again, the Hilda and the Jawhead will be the most susceptible to that, but at this point, it looks like Twisted Minds need to spend so much to just try and pick off two that Falcon will still have the comeback capability, especially around Kalteezy's Nolan, who is level 14, getting closer to 15. I think it's safe to say that's a 3-level gap between him and MP the King Suyo.
Damn.
Jeez, look at the damage dealt by even MP the King, man. It's just nearly non-existent. Like, just near him is Ogwin in terms of damage.
I mean,
That's
as strong as Suyo is, he can't get near his opponents. And look at that. Because of the Ogwin as well, outplayed, getting forced back when Kalteezy takes that turret. I feel like it's because of Ogwin, right? The Suyo can't get near the targets. He can't do damage because of the fear of being ejected into the back line.
Yeah. You're going to have a tough time either way, really, when you get this far behind throughout this game. Even Escalera. Look at Super Marco so up front. He just knows. He's like, dude, I've been farming up for 10 minutes. I want my time to shine, and they'll get the Lord easily off of that. You know when you're playing with that kind of confidence and you're that up front, and you're relying on the fact that you just have a flicker, basically, defensively, that you're locked in, basically.
Yeah, Falcons PH. Yeah, they can just continue this. Twisted Minds have a strong counter capability, especially on the anti-siege. They have the Farsa and the Moskov together. And of course, the Lucas would always be a little bit of a thorn on your side. Right now, it's more of a splinter than a thorn. You don't really have to worry so much about the Lucas. But as long as Falcons doesn't get too over-eager to end this, they focus on the heroes first, should be okay.
Oh, you?
Twisted Minds right now trying to go for the chase, trying to find anything. Because right now, if they don't do anything, it just feels like they're just going to get suffocated.
Yeah.
So trying to find as any gold source at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to find much. The shields are all popped, except this mid one. Good usage of the Jawhead Ejector to throw the minions into the shields to have them pop earlier on.
Easy, playing around with James. Damage not quite there yet, especially forcing
wow.
out the Winter Crown from Kalteezy. That might be an opening here. And James and Escalera says, you know what, maybe we can go for a chase. Maybe we can chase these remaining members, make something happen. They're trying it as much as they can. Go into the glorious pathway, they find Few. There's just no stopping these two people.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about with how good the Farsa is in the defense. But him, Hajizi, and James linking up together to get the first pick off onto Kalteezy. And good call by Twisted Minds. Even I was surprised that they decided to go after the chase and still was able to walk away with a kill onto Few.
I'm actually surprised because that was clearly a mistake from Falcons. The way that they approached that, I feel like a little overconfidence in, you know, hey, we have this lead, we want to go ahead and fight out. But then they end up getting caught before the Lord even approached. So they kind of fumbled that. And it gives now Twisted Minds an opportunity to go ahead and slowly get back into the game. They've already started that. They are getting some of the items that they need. That damage is respectable. But again, when it comes down to it, we have to look forward in the next less than a minute, about 45 seconds. The Lord, are they prepared for a Lord fight against Team Falcons?
Oh,
Or do they give it up?
Nah, they can lightly contest, but as long as they build up an advantage, that's when they can go for the heavy contention. I don't think they should really just go all in right away. Try to get crafty, see if you can bait out Ogwin's entry first and get info where Flapteezy is, see if you can find Kyle. There's a long checklist that you have to do, so Twisted Minds, just take it slowly first, don't go all in just yet.
Weirdly enough, I do like that. I feel like Twisted Minds, they have a bit of an advantage if they go 5-man dive, because single target Rhapsody, single target Ejector, you can do it they're gonna lose if they play slow. If they play fast, that might not be able to keep up. The Rhapsody will not be enough to slow them down.
Feathered Airstrike used up here, securing and that buff. Both Retributions still held on to, but the Lord is up now. Super Marco also picking up the Wind of Nature. Has got that available now. And they're going to go ahead and start this up. Twisted Minds, though, like we said, do we see them lean into this? They could Glorious Pathway in. A good Divine Glaive comes up, and that's a reset on the Lord. And Hajizi will have the Feathered Airstrike now that the time this fight breaks out. They do have to clear some of the waves. That's being managed down bottom by Outplayed. So we'll see if they actually go ahead and commit to this one while Team Falcons kind of approaches the fight, trying to get the favor. So they're going to stop to let them get their times to get the buffs they need.
Okay, that's one info. They see where Flap is. They also have to be careful where Few is at, because if they decide to commit the all-in and go fast, Few is the biggest counter to that. So as long as they can tick the box of where Few is, get that information, I'm sure they can readjust if they decide to go for a full dive. Bottom lane minion wave is getting managed somewhat right now. It got balanced. What was a slow push has stopped Dead Center in the lane, so Falcons doesn't need to worry about that, nor does Twisted Minds. Oh, the Twisted Minds are getting pushed out.
Yeah, they're getting pushed out really hard here. Flapteasy is trying his very best.
Oh, they just rush it.
And they're bum rushing straight to the Lord here.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they want to take that Spear of Destruction. They
did?
might just want to go out for it, but Outplayed says, you know what, let's go, let's play. And they take out one because of that. It's going to be two going down as well. Escalera following suit. 3v5 right now here for Falcons. And it is a very, very bad bloodbath here for Twisted Minds. They're rushing out for the map. That won't save you. And there goes the Maniac once more. And a wipeout for Team Falcons.
He does it again. It's a Maniac for Marco on the Granger and a missed call by Twisted Minds to decide and fight. Escalera and Outplayed might be kicking themselves.
Take a look at that player cam on Super Marco. Just locked in as always. Maniac, Savage, whatever it may be. He is the player right now.